Warpath, anger, and aggression against the enemies of your progress. I guess if there's anything we have plenty of in the world, it is certainly angry people. So why in the world would I do a series on the subject of anger against the enemies of your progress? Well, because anger is an emotion that is instilled in us just the same as any other emotion is, whether it be happiness, sadness, or anything else. Anger is a necessary emotion for one simple reason, because we would put up with a lot of bad things if we didn't have anger. Anger is necessary so that you won't tolerate certain things in the world. Now, you might say to me, well, CJ, I'm not an angry person. I had an angry father or an angry mother or an angry husband or an angry wife, and I don't want to be that. Well, I'm not talking about fits of rage. I'm not talking about uncontrolled emotion. If anything, what we want is a balance, and I'll explain what that is in just a moment. But the emotion of anger is still necessary. Otherwise, we would tolerate some very bad things in this world. So you might again say that you are not an angry person and you don't want to be an angry person because of the angry people that you have had in your life. Again, we're not talking about fits of rage or uncontrolled emotion, but what we are talking about is an anger against injustice, an anger against things that should have some anger directed towards them, or nothing will simply be done. What if we did not have anger against abuse, child abuse, domestic abuse? What if there was no anger against that? What would we settle for? What would we allow in this world if there wasn't a rage against these things? In an organized sense, in a controlled sense. So you see, you have to be dissatisfied with things. You have to be put off by things. You have to be even angry about things. You know, again, politics, social issues, whatever it may be, anger is an important and a necessary emotion, even though it's typically seen as a negative thing. Again, what would we tolerate if we did not have anger? So I'm going to define anger for this series as a serious, deep displeasure with something or someone. Anger is a deep displeasure with something or someone. It means to be infuriated, which obviously means to be filled with fury. Now, I'm a fan of Bruce Lee, for example, and he did a movie that was titled in the United States as Fists of Fury. Well, obviously, from the title and from what you know about the character, it is a guy who's going to stand against injustice. So his fury is being directed towards injustice. It's not simply uncontrolled anger. So we understand that even in that example, there is a proper use of fury, a proper use of anger. Fury, in this sense, is understood as a healthy rage to make things right. Fury is understood in this sense as a healthy rage to make things right. Now, it's easy to see that in terms of social issues, right? We're talking about your life, but we're using these broader concepts in order to make it that much more clear. So in my mind, there are three primary ways in which people are angry. Three primary ways in which people are angry. You can be angry at circumstances, You can be angry at your environment, your circumstances, the things that are around you. That can include politics, gender, race, domestic situation, people in your life, job, whatever it may be. And when you're angry primarily at circumstances, you can end up playing the blame game oftentimes, right? You believe that if everything changed around you, if everybody was nicer, if there was a different person in the White House, if there was a different this or a different that, if there was just finally racial justice, then everything would be good for your life, right? Not necessarily. So you end up playing the blame game on other things when you could obviously be doing some things to improve your life for yourself. Number two, you can be angry at yourself. Angry at yourself, and this is common, is it not? to be disappointed in yourself to the place that you get angry, not very healthy, because you end up becoming your own worst enemy. Or number 3, you can be angry in a healthy way, which is being unsettled at resistance, because you know that you can achieve what you want, and something that could actually change is standing in your way. That you know you can achieve, you know you have the ability to achieve something, but there's something standing in your way. And it's the fury, it's the dissatisfaction, it's the displeasure, it's the anger that drives you to take action against it. We have too often signed a contract with mediocrity. We have too often decided to settle when we certainly don't have to. And that's oftentimes because we have made an agreement, we have made peace with what opposes us. So I want to see you go on the warpath. I want to see you release some of that aggression against the enemies of your progress. But how do we find the balance I mentioned earlier between a healthy and an unhealthy anger? Because again, you don't want to be like that angry father or mother. You don't want to be like the other angry people in your life. How do we find a balance? Is there a way to be filled with fury in a way that's productive and doesn't upset you? Here's the key. You can be angry at resistance so long as you are equally in love with the wisdom and the principles that govern success, achievement, or personal change. That's the balance. You can be angry and not worry about it messing up your life or doing damage. You can be angry at resistance so long as you are equally in love with the wisdom and the principles that govern achievement, personal transformation, success, or whatever it may be that you're striving for. So long as you are equally in love with the principles that govern and make a good world, your anger will be healthy, your fury will be in balance. Can you dig that? I hope you can.